Here's why you should not rewrite your speech for every event. No, stop doing this. If you're rewriting your entire keynote for every event, you're burning time, you're draining your energy, and honestly, you're losing money. Because what happens is you get to a point where you go, man, every time I got to write a new keynote, it's stressful. I don't like stress. What am I going to do? Not book more keynotes. I'm telling you, it sounds crazy, but this happens for people. They legitimately go like, yeah, I'm pushing, but then every time I get a new keynote, I got to write a new keynote, and their body goes, I don't like how it feels to have to write a new keynote every time. I don't want to have this feeling take place. So the way to eliminate it is to not get booked. So I'm going to get really busy being busy. I'm going to spin my wheels and do work that gets me nowhere. And people do this. It's wild when I watch it happen, but I get it. Logically, it makes complete sense. So you got to get out of this space of freaking out when you got to write a new keynote and just don't even write a new keynote. Structure it differently. Now, if you're wondering who I am, my name is Anthony Trucks. I'm the founder of Speak to Freedom, which is a speaking company that teaches coaches and speakers and everybody under the sun how to become a speaker who is great at getting on stage. Now, my personal brand, I still speak, is called Dark Work. How to do the work in the dark so you can win in the light. And I have found a way to do what I do and then teach people what I do very systematically. And if you feel like you're having to reinvent your talk every time you get booked, I'm here to stop that cycle, to teach you what I call is the 80-20 structure. Now, I'm going to go in not to super deep depth because I have clients that pay for this information, but I want to give you an overarching understanding of what this is and why I developed it for myself to then give it to you, because this has given me so much more power and honestly just peace when I want to go create a cool new keynote. And I don't have to make a brand new keynote from scratch. In fact, when I'm filming this, I just gave a talk last week. Yeah, last week, 5 days ago, and the beginning of the week, 5 days before that. Very similar companies, different keynotes completely. Each keynote took me 15 minutes, slides and everything. And I'm telling you, it's very, very doable for anybody who wants to do it. So the way it processes, I'm gonna walk you through a couple steps. There's gonna be three simple steps we talk through here. Is the 80-20 method is it's based on this concept of your 80% talk should be the exact same. Like 80% of what you say on that stage should be the exact same stories. I'm not saying the same script. Like I'm not talking about you script things out, you make it to where it's this, very regimen structured. I do this every time in this position. We're not talking about doing that, but 80% of it should be the same foundation. And then 20% of it changes to work with the audience. Now, this could be the intro, specific stories you may choose from a story database, your language that's tied to their industry and who they are and what they want to be called, what the event is all about, what's the theme. Like these things matter. And so 80% of the talk should be your same foundation. If you have a solid message and you have a solid framework, it's very easy to do. If you don't have these, it's all over the place. You are going to burn yourself out and go crazy, right? This is how, if you do it right, you can deliver a tailored experience without rewriting every new speech. You go, hey, 80% will be the exact same. Now, that 80%, it varies. It doesn't vary too often, but it varies based on what you believe is your foundation. You should spend time refining this. For me, I know my opening and closing stories. For me, I know my credibility section. I know how I talk through what I call my thesis or anchor statement. I know what my main points are. From there, stories change a lot, but the same lessons are being conveyed. It's like saying, I want to tell someone that you should communicate better. Well, I can have a story about communication and doing so better from being in the football field in the NFL and doing my thing and how communication was key in hand signals without someone being able to hear me, right? That communication can be done verbally and non-verbally, but it's powerful to be on the same page to be able to accomplish the goal of winning the game. I can also talk about communication as a parent and how getting words into my kids' heads isn't always easy. I can also talk about being communicative to my team and my companies, or to my wife in my marriage. But every one of those stories can land a similar lesson about communication. So if I know my 80%, maybe stage one is communicate, who am I talking to now? I just take a look. This is the audience. Let me choose this story that lands. That's the 20%. But the 80% foundation, still the exact same. Nothing has changed. Make sure you keep this in mind as you build things out, because it'll save you so much extra work because the foundation's same. Now, point two, we'll call it, is top speakers actually do something different. What they do is they build one keynote, not 70 keynotes. They learn to shape it for different audiences. This is what that 20% is. But the foundation's the same. You have one keynote. It's really, for the most part, the same structure based on your promise that's built on top of your framework. If you have this in place, you just shape it for the audience. You add a story that resonates with this group here. For example, if I have a keynote and I'm giving it to elementary school kids for whatever reason, that conversation is I'm gonna spend vastly more time in my childhood, my experience that they can relate to, maybe things that are, common social ideas that they know. I'm talking to the kids in a place where the kids are at. And I'm still giving the same talk, just using kids' stories to give the talk and simplifying it like crazy. On the other hand, if I'm going to a room full of executives, I'm not talking about my childhood in that manner. I'm talking about things that are more relevant to the needs of the audience I'm speaking to. But the same foundation still exists. I just change the story based on who I'm talking to and what they're going to want to hear. And then from there, I change the context, right? Not the content, the context at times. So maybe the context of what I'm saying is something that has to do with sales or has to do with communication to a team. Maybe it's leadership in some manner. Maybe it's personal development and resilience inside, right? But the content, the story can be the exact same. I just point out a different part of that story, right? So it's the same thing, same content, but the context of what they're getting is different based on what their needs are. That again allows it to be 20%. Then you can mention the company or the event specific pieces inside your setup. So when you're given the keynote, that 20% can be talking to what they have told you in their pre event call is relevant to them, what they're battling, how they're doing it. Like, and if you do this right, it'll feel fresh every time with the keynote without feeling like you're burning out from hours and hours of developing something from scratch. That's the horrible piece. I will not do that nowadays. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not going in and building a brand new keynote from scratch for you. Like I work with some big people. I don't need to do that. I know what I do well. If you tell me what your people need, I'll make the tweaks I need to make it sound. But it's seriously 15 minutes at this point in time. So I'm not burning up my time and my clock, and I'm not feeling burnt out from having to think through everything from ground zero. Now, the third point here is you tweak your talk, and if you do it efficiently, you can do it smooth and not have crazy problems, right? But you're probably going, Anthony, sounds good. How in the world do I do that? Really basic. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to ask the planner or the booker, whoever's bringing you in, what are their audience's pain points? What are the audiences? I call it water cooler talk. Where are they at as a company right now? Good place, bad place. I ask them sometimes, what have other speakers done well and done poorly, and why? I'll ask at the end of the day, what's the thing that they want as takeaways? What do they want the people to feel as and take as action steps? Also, like there's a lot of questions you can ask. I oftentimes ask them, "Hey, what would make this a slam dunk for you?" Like I just got to ask questions, and what it does is it informs me at a logical an emotional standpoint what they're looking for. Now I can address them, their needs, their conversations completely differently than I used to. And this for me allows me to have a personalization. I can give them great language. I can pull stories that resonate just with them. I can ask them for stories that they think are relevant. They can go point them in the right direction or find competitors and stuff that may have similar stories of what they did wrong so they can avoid that or they did right so they can actually mimic that. There's a lot of ways to do it, but you got to find ways to personalize it because you're asking questions to be able to do so. And then you can also customize the opening and the final takeaways. If you know what they need, talk to what they need. Don't imply it, explicitly talk about it. And that's okay because now they go, wow, this person knows us. And they don't know you. They just got to know you, right? It's different from a CEO, but a stranger coming in, they get to know, like, wow, this person actually paid attention to who we are and what our needs are, right? So I'm telling you, quick changes make big impact. And for you, it creates almost zero overwhelm because you're able to knock more out in less time. So if you want help building a keynote that's powerful, that's flexible, 80/20, and scalable, I want to help you get that done. That's something that my company's been doing for years. If you go to speaktofreedom.com, you'll see all the details. I'm a current speaker. I've loved doing this career for the last decade plus, and I have no intention of stopping, but I'm not a road warrior. I want 24 speeches a year, and that's all I'm going to do. Besides that, I want to give you the tools to be able to go and create an amazing business, an impactful business, one that allows you to have a great legacy and also creates a great freedom for your life, time freedom, money freedom, creative freedom to do what you choose to do and let your heart sing and make things. That's a gift that only you can give yourself. And I can help you give it to yourself by shortcutting all the headaches to get there faster. So if you go to speaktofreedom.com, you'll see all the details. You can find out more about what we do, and I would love to serve you in that manner. So that's it. and nothing more. Go to speakthefreedom.com, or I'll see you in the next video.